Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about women forever. And most men will never understand this. Right now, I need you to really pay attention because if you're used to being polite, careful, or even just nice, what I'm about to reveal will make you uncomfortable. And good. Discomfort is where transformation begins. Let's start with the truth that no one tells men. Women are wired to detect authenticity, dominance, and emotional control before anything else. Everything else, the compliments, the dates, the jokes, is secondary. If you don't command a certain level of presence, your words, your intentions, your very energy, they're invisible to her subconscious. This is why so many men are frustrated, stuck, or completely overlooked, despite doing everything right, according to society's dating advice. They think kindness or charm alone will get them noticed. It won't. Women aren't thinking about your bank account, your car, or even how polite you are in this first critical moment of interaction. They're scanning for subtle cues, how steady your voice is, how controlled your body language is, how much confidence drips from the way you occupy space. Your words are filtered through this radar. If your energy signals weakness, desperation, or uncertainty, it doesn't matter what you say. It literally doesn't reach her conscious mind because her instinct has already labeled you. Here's where most men fail. They don't understand the invisible language of instinct. They rely on logic, scripts, or pickup techniques. But instinct doesn't respond to that. It responds to how you make her feel. Safe, yet intrigued. Challenged, yet drawn. Respected, yet subtly curious about what you might do next. It's not manipulation. It's understanding the primal wiring that shapes every choice she makes before she even speaks a word. So if you've ever wondered why some men seem effortlessly magnetic while you feel like you're shouting into silence, it's because they've tapped into this instinctual frequency. They communicate dominance, stability, and unshakable confidence in ways you don't even realize. And this is the first step in learning to speak to her in a way that resonates with her most instinctive, unspoken desires. This is not about tricks. It's about truth. And truth is rarely comfortable. Let's go deeper. Because understanding women's instincts isn't just about noticing how they act. It's about recognizing what they feel before they even speak. Women are constantly evaluating every subtle cue in a man. The rhythm of his voice, the firmness of his gaze, the calmness of his movements. And here's the brutal truth most men will never face. If you are anxious, unsure, or overly eager, her instincts immediately register that, and no amount of charm or clever words can override it. She will feel it before she even processes it. So, what does this mean for you? It means that before you ever open your mouth, your energy has already spoken for you. Every small hesitation, every micro expression of insecurity, every subtle tension in your body, it's all broadcasting messages she reads without thinking. The irony is that men spend hours planning what to say, while women spend seconds scanning who they're talking to. You are being judged long before your words matter, and most men never realize it. They keep blaming themselves, their looks, or the timing, but the real factor is unseen, unspoken, primal. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Most men don't want to face this truth because it forces responsibility. They like believing that if they just say the right thing or follow a formula, they'll get results. But results aren't created in words. They're created in presence. Presence is the silent communication of dominance, calmness, and certainty. It's the energy that says, I am confident, I am grounded, and I am not afraid of being rejected. Women feel this instinctively, and it makes them respond in ways men can't predict or control. but only if you truly understand it. This is why some men walk into a room and instantly command attention without a single word, while others try to perform and are ignored. It's not luck, it's mastery of presence. Mastering this requires seeing yourself honestly, acknowledging fears, insecurities, and the parts of you that wobble under pressure. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where transformation happens. The men who succeed aren't the smartest, richest, or funniest. They are the ones who have learned to embody their own certainty in ways women instinctively notice. And here's the kicker. Once you begin to speak to her from this position of instinctual authority, everything changes. Conversations feel effortless, interactions spark intrigue, and respect replaces doubt. But none of it happens by accident. It's deliberate, it's practiced, and it's built on understanding how female instincts truly work. This is where most men quit, because it's harder than they imagined. But if you're still here, it means you're ready to see beyond what everyone else is telling you. Now, let's confront a truth that most men never admit to themselves. Women are constantly testing men, often without even realizing it. It's not malicious, it's instinctual. Their brains are wired to detect stability, confidence, and emotional control. Every small reaction you have, how you respond to a joke, a challenge, or even silence, is logged and interpreted on a subconscious level. And if you're not aware, you're already failing this test without knowing it. Men spend too much time trying to impress women with stories, jokes, or compliments, thinking that this is what attracts her. But here's the hidden reality. Attraction isn't created by what you say. It's created by the energy you convey. Your tone, your posture, your ability to remain unshaken under pressure, these are the signals her instincts prioritize. A slight tremor in your voice, a subtle hesitation, a look of uncertainty, these are louder than any clever words you could say. She feels it before she even speaks. This is why presence is the secret weapon most men never understand. Presence is not arrogance. Presence is not control for the sake of control. It's a state of mind where you are grounded, centered, and confident, no matter the situation. It's being able to handle rejection, teasing, or testing without losing composure. And women notice this instantly. They are drawn to men who embody this energy because it signals security, strength, and leadership, traits hardwired into their instincts. And here's where it gets painful. Most men avoid this work because it's uncomfortable. It forces self-awareness. It exposes fear, insecurity, and doubt. It demands that you confront the parts of yourself you've been hiding, even from yourself. But if you don't do it, you remain invisible, unnoticed, and unmemorable. You stay trapped in the endless cycle of chasing validation and approval instead of commanding respect and intrigue. Understanding this truth changes everything. When you learn to speak with authority, not arrogance, but grounded confidence, you bypass all the superficial filters. Your words become amplified because they're backed by the energy she instinctively responds to. She doesn't need to think about it. She feels it. And this is what separates men who struggle endlessly from men who are effortlessly magnetic. So if you've been trying to figure out why your efforts fail, stop focusing on what you say and start focusing on who you are underneath it all. Presence, energy, and instinctual dominance, not manipulation, are the keys to unlocking attraction that most men will never comprehend. Now we reach the part most men fear. Understanding the subtle tests women put in place to measure you without words. These tests are invisible if you're distracted by your own desire for approval. She might challenge you with a teasing comment, push your boundaries in conversation, or even appear indifferent, all to see how you react. And the truth is, your reaction says more than 1,000 carefully prepared words ever could. Your instinctual response, not your logical answer, is what she is evaluating. Let me make this very clear. Women are wired to detect authenticity in split seconds. It's unconscious, primal, and brutally honest. They feel nervousness, insecurity, or desperation the moment it appears. And here's the brutal reality. Most men don't even know they're showing it. They think they're in control, but every micro-expression, every subtle gesture, every shift in tone is being read like an open book. If your energy screams uncertainty, your words are meaningless. She won't remember your clever jokes. She'll remember how you made her feel in that instant. This is where mastery comes in. Mastery isn't about tricks or lines. It's about being fully present, grounded, and steady under pressure. It's about communicating without trying to impress, about speaking from a place of internal certainty, not external validation. When you achieve this, every interaction becomes magnetic. She isn't deciding if you're good enough. Her instinct has already responded to your energy before you finish your first sentence. And here's the uncomfortable part. Developing this presence requires confronting your weaknesses, your fears, and the parts of yourself that have been avoiding pressure for years. It's not easy. Most men quit because it's uncomfortable to see themselves as they truly are. But if you endure it, you gain an invisible power that commands attention effortlessly. Your presence speaks louder than words. Your energy becomes undeniable, and she begins to respond instinctively without realizing why. This is the point where men either transform or remain stuck in mediocrity. Understanding female instinct is not about manipulation, lies, or performance. It's about self-mastery. It's about being someone who does not need approval, whose energy naturally attracts respect, curiosity, and intrigue. When you embody this, every interaction shifts. She notices consciously or unconsciously, and your confidence becomes irresistible. So if you've ever wondered why some men get instant attention without trying, while others struggle endlessly, it's because presence, not effort, is what triggers instinct. Mastering this invisible language is the key, and it starts with brutally honest self-reflection. Now it's time to confront the hidden triggers that make women instinctively drawn to certain men. These aren't gestures you learned from books or lines you memorized. They're deeply rooted in human psychology. Women respond to emotional and behavioral signals that reflect confidence, dominance, and calm control. Notice I didn't say arrogance, manipulation, or flashy displays. Those are distractions. What matters is the energy you radiate, the way you hold yourself, and the unshakable belief in your own value. Think about the men who seem to effortlessly attract attention without trying. They don't need to prove themselves. They aren't constantly seeking approval. They are grounded in who they are, and women feel this. It's primal. Every movement, every glance, every subtle shift in tone communicates certainty. Instinctively, women are drawn to men who embody strength without needing to announce it. The reason most men fail is because they mimic behaviors without internalizing the energy behind them. They are pretending, and pretenders are invisible. Here's the uncomfortable truth. To trigger attraction, you must first master your internal state. Your mind, your emotions, and your energy need to be in alignment. Uncertainty, fear, or self-doubt leaks out in ways most men cannot detect, but women can. Every micro-expression, every hesitation, every subtle insecurity is read by her subconscious, and it overrides any verbal attempt to impress. If you're not internally anchored, nothing else works. And this is why self-mastery is more powerful than any external technique. It's not about impressing her with words or actions. It's about becoming a man whose presence commands attention naturally. Women are instinctively drawn to stability, confidence, and authenticity. They respond to energy long before they process logic. Your energy sets the tone, dictates the attraction, and determines whether she's engaged or indifferent. So, what do you do with this knowledge? You shift your focus inward. You cultivate calm confidence. You practice unwavering presence in every interaction. You stop reacting to approval or validation and start radiating certainty. It's uncomfortable because it forces you to face parts of yourself you've avoided. It's challenging because it requires consistency, patience, and self-honesty. But this is how invisible power is built. The power that women sense instinctively, even when they can't articulate why. Understanding these triggers isn't just about dating. It's about becoming a man who operates on a higher frequency than most. Once you grasp this, every interaction shifts from uncertainty to magnetic engagement. Women respond naturally, effortlessly, because instinct doesn't lie. Energy speaks louder than words, and mastery of that energy separates men who attract from men who fade into the background. Now, we reach the point where theory becomes reality. Everything I've shared so far, presence, energy, instinctual understanding, is meaningless without action. Understanding female instincts isn't about reading books, memorizing tricks, or performing behaviors. It's about embodying a level of internal authority that women feel before they ever hear a word. This is the invisible power that separates the men who are noticed from the men who are ignored. Most men think attraction is complicated, but it isn't. It's about one thing: how your energy communicates dominance, stability, and confidence. Women respond to this instinctively. They feel it in subtle ways: a steady gaze, a calm tone, a controlled body language. The moment you master these elements, the game changes completely. Your words are amplified, your presence is magnetic, and your interactions become effortless. She notices without consciously understanding why, because instinct speaks before logic ever does. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Achieving this level of presence requires brutal self-honesty. It demands confronting fears, insecurities, and self-doubt you've hidden from yourself. Most men avoid this because it's uncomfortable, and comfort is easy, but attraction, real attraction, lives outside of comfort. It lives in the space where you confront yourself and refuse to shrink. It's not flashy, it's subtle. It's not loud, it's undeniable. And when you reach this level, women respond naturally, without needing to be convinced. This is where the majority of men fail. They chase validation, they try to perform, and they misunderstand instinct as manipulation. They miss the point entirely. The truth is simple but rare. Women are drawn to men whose energy signals certainty, presence, and grounded strength. If you embody this, you don't have to chase her attention. She will notice, she will be curious, and her responses will be authentic because they are driven by instinct, not words. So, the final lesson is this: stop focusing on what to say. Stop trying to impress. Start focusing on who you are at your core and how you show up in every interaction. Cultivate energy that communicates confidence, control, and stability. Master presence, master self, and you will see results that men chasing tricks can only dream of. The reality is harsh but liberating. Attraction is not created by words, status, or charm. It's created by the man who has mastered himself first. Once you embrace this truth, everything changes. Your interactions, your confidence, your influence, they all shift. And the women who respond aren't responding to what you say. They're responding to the energy you radiate. Embrace this power. Embody this energy. And watch the invisible forces of instinct work in your favor.